All right, for more on this, let's bring in Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty. Senator Hagerty, thank you, sir. On this Spanish chaos and open borders, this is what President Trump warned about. And this is what the left, Joe Biden wouldn't listen, and we had 15 million illegals, or whatever the correct number is, and it caused a wave of crime and massive spending and, basically unearthed all kinds of chaos here. It looks like they're repeating it, and the Europeans never seem to learn, Senator Hagerty. I mean, this is just what Mr. Trump warned against.
I think it's precisely what the president is warning against, and it's a preview, Larry, of what could happen if these Democrat Socialists of America are able to get charged. If you think about it, this Socialist Workers' Party in Spain, a leftist socialist organization, is taking control of that country. This is what you get. A liberal judiciary, this is what you get. It's an invitation to these people to overrun their country. I think all of Europe should be on alarm. Again, this is a preview of what could happen right here in America. We already saw Joe Biden try it before. Thank God President Trump came into office and has put a complete stop to this. It's out of the news right now, but this could happen again. It's a preview and it's a wake-up call to all of us. And I think as we head into the midterm elections, remember what the Democrat Socialists can do. It's happening right now in Europe.
Well, I think, some pundits, tongue-in-cheek, Senator Hagerty, were saying maybe we should find out what Kamala Harris would like to do since in Spain. Maybe they want to bring her in as a consultant because of the great job she did in opening the border here. Now, that's a little I guess that's a little unfair, but I think it's only a little unfair because the facts are what you just mentioned.
I don't think it's that unfair. I don't think it's that unfair. If you took her policies, implemented them, you'd wind up with a situation like we're seeing right now in Spain.
All right. Let's cross over back to the Iran war. You're a foreign policy expert among your many credits. The president is sounding tougher. I don't know if he's going to adopt Admiral Cooper's plan to go big, or maybe he will, the 10 to 14 days bombing. But we're talking about certainly stepping up the pressure on them, the economic pressure. There's talk now about closing their borders and, hitting bridges and tunnels. No trucks come in. No goods can be carried in as further punishment. And covert operations with Israel may also be developing as things go on. How do you see this? Is the president essentially going to stay on this path? Diplomacy has just failed, and now it's just time to just kick some butt.
Well, much to Washington's shock, President Trump has been very good about not telegraphing his every move. But I'll say this, Brad Cooper had completed roughly 75 to 80% of the target package that initially was set to deal with Iran. He stepped back from that when we went into negotiations, into the ceasefire to deal with the Strait of Hormuz. I think the time has come, Larry. I think you agree as well. Go back, finish the package, finish the job. I think this is what the American public need to see. As soon as this happens, I'll tell you this. The polling data that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are thrilled about right now, because Americans don't like to see this sort of unclear situation. Once we've clearly defined this and ended this whole bit in Iran, we've taken the IRGC and put them where they belong. I think you're going to see the president's poll numbers. You're going to see joy back in America again. Americans love a winner. Americans love to win. We can do that. I think the time has come to deliver on it.
Yeah, that's a very important point, sir, especially those last points you make. And I agree. Look, I want to see this multidimensional effort. Whatever Cooper's plan is, I'm not a military expert. Scott Bessent's been a very good wartime Treasury Secretary. I hope he steps up the sanctions. I mean, I think closing the borders to trade will be very helpful. Their economy has been decimated, but it may have to get worse before the IRGC is done. And I think the covert operations, Senator Hagerty, I think that's an integral part of it, too, because you know darn well that the majority of that population does not want these crazy radical Muslims to keep running the place.
I think that's exactly right. And you talk about our Israeli partners. They have exquisite intelligence and exquisite capabilities on the ground there. You saw what they did with the supply chains when every one of Hezbollah's leaders had their fingers and thumbs blown off. I think the Israelis possess, incredible covert capabilities. And I'm with you. I think we should put every option on the table. Diplomacy, when it's not working, there's an alternative, and I think we're at that point right now. Let's execute the alternatives.
And one last one, Senator. You're also a financial expert, and I guess our bank regulators are finally overturning these shakedowns used by progressive left-wing groups. If banks gave them credit and loans and whatever, the banks would somehow get a better regulatory credit filing from the regulators. I mean, that has to stop, and it looks like our controller of the currency, the new controller, is going to stop it. I know you were highlighted in that piece. What can you tell us on that one?
You know, I'm just glad to see the Trump administration doing as they have been and going in and taking a very hard look at all this regulatory regime, Larry. This is a tool that has been misused. I'm certain this was not the original intent, but this has basically been a tool used to shake down any bank or financial institution that wants to merge or expand into a given market. And they get shaken down by liberal regulators and those that want to control them to write checks to support efforts, particularly liberal efforts. That just shouldn't be the case. So that's coming to an end, again, thanks to the Trump administration and thanks to strong leadership on the economic front, again, led by Secretary Bessent and new comptroller. I'm very pleased with where we're headed.
All right. Well, terrific stuff. Senator Bill Hagerty, thank you, sir. We appreciate it very much.
As always, Larry.
All right.